I used to feel like my body was a sports car. Right now I feel like the tow truck pulling the sports car.
All right, guys, it is officially 2:48 in the afternoon. We are rocking the average middle-aged man strap of the world right here. Just kidding. We're gonna be getting into some 5-rep maxes now. Got a little power nap, refueled, got a little bit of glucose in the bloodstream, so we should be good to go. I'm gonna try to make sure I get a really good warm up before I dive into this. Last thing I wanna do when I do these guys is wind up injuring myself in the process of doing that. And that's why I didn't wind up doing any testing on day 0 or day 1. Wouldn't have been very intelligent to get up off the couch and step right in here and try and do a 5-rep max on anything. So I'm gonna do a pretty thorough, about 15-minute warm up, and then I'm actually gonna do some light warm up sets on all the movements prior to jumping in and doing anything crazy. So I am gonna go, like I said, I'm gonna try and give an accurate 5-rep, but at the same time, if I feel like my form's breaking down too much, I'm gonna call the lift there, and we're gonna see what we wind up with. So should be interesting, and then we're gonna take a look back at day 30. We'll do another round of testing as well, and then that'll give us a good idea from a scientific perspective of how much the body adapts from this style of programming that we're doing. So the movements that we're gonna wind up doing today, I already knocked out the 1-mile run, so that's a piece of this. I'm gonna be doing AMRAP pull-ups, so as many reps as possible. I'm gonna be doing a neutral grip just to protect my shoulders. I've got a little bit of prehab stuff, and that'll be out in another video that I'm gonna be working on. And other than that, we got the deadlift, bench press, bent over row. I didn't put shoulder press up there, or push press. We are gonna do push press as well. And then, did I miss anything? Squat, bench press, deadlift, bent over row, and push press. Okay, guys? So, those are gonna be our movements. Let's see how it goes. We'll rock the strap if we need it. All right, let's see it. All right, we're gonna knock out back squat first. So let's see where the wheels are at. Starting with 205. Okay, 205 is pretty doable, so I'm gonna take a pretty reasonable break, at least a couple minutes, and then jump back in. Probably gonna do 225. I'm not sure how much more I can do than that, so we'll see. All right, back squat, we're gonna cut it at 225. Reason being, I'm gonna save the wheels a little bit for deadlift as well. I definitely probably could have squeezed out just a little bit more. I wanna say maybe 235, 245 for a round of 5, but again, I do have a little bit of a pre-existing groin issue that I'm in the middle of rehabbing right now, actually. So that being said, is that we're not trying to kill ourselves to get results today. We got plenty of work to be done, so no point in hamstringing ourselves today. So let's get on to the rest of it. All right, starter set, flat bench, 185. This used to be a normal, pretty easy 15 reps, but we're gonna start off, see if we can get our 5 at least here. Okay, we didn't lose everything yet. Pretty easy, pretty reasonable. I think we're gonna make the jump to 205. See how that goes. $215 on the bench, felt pretty good. Could have maybe stretched it to 225. Again, remember guys, I'm doing this without a spotter at the moment, so no point in pushing too hard. I'm not trying to drop the bar on myself. I could always dump the weights, that's why I'm not using clips, but again, safety first, not trying to get injured. This is just for scientific purposes and a little bit of fun more than anything. So 215 on the bench for 5. On to the next one. All right guys, normally I don't advocate for the use of a weight belt because we have one of those inside of here and that needs work too. But since we're only a couple weeks into the program and conventional deadlift has been off the menu so far in favor of the hex bar deadlift, I am gonna go ahead and use a weight belt for anything once I'm right up here around this 205 and higher mark. Again, trying to make sure we don't have any injuries. I'm not a big fan of these, but they are useful, especially if you're gonna be pushing yourself to those extremes where you're up towards that 80 to 100%, I should say 90 to 100% of your maximum. So beware guys, be cautious about doing this stuff. And I'm not advocating for you to be doing any testing right now by any means. We're just doing this for fun. So let's see what we get. All right, 245 on the deadlift. Not too bad. I was actually surprised myself a little bit there. I was a little... Phone decided to turn music on itself. Anyways, surprised myself a little bit there. Did feel just a little bit of tweakiness in the hip that I've been dealing with, but that's okay. To be expected when you're getting some maximal exertion in. Maybe could have pushed it by another 5 or 10 pounds. Probably could have done 255 for sure, maybe 265, but not worth it at this point. So 245, good starting spot. And now let's get into pull-ups because I don't want to pre-fatigue before I get over to rows. So let's see what we get. All right, 10 reps for pull-ups. And again, that was neutral grip, trying to protect the shoulders. Didn't go with wide grip. So I have to make sure that when I go back and retest that, it's the same exact thing. We only get one shot. We only get one opportunity on that. So we can't let it slip, right? As M would say. So decent spot. We'll come back. We'll test it on the 30th. Let's see what we get. All right, been over row. We're hitting it at 185. Now, sometimes it is good to rock the weight belt. I'm not a huge fan, like I was saying, but in circumstances like this, definitely going high strength, I would say it merits using. I could definitely feel a lot of tension in the low back from that, but that's pre-fatigue from working in squats, deadlifts, all the other movements as well, and going heavy. So these are here for a reason. Just choose to use them appropriately. We don't want to rely on these things all the time. I'm sure everybody's seen the person in the gym wearing this 24/7 around the clock. You don't need to do that. You shouldn't do that. You need those intrinsic stabilizers to be strong so that you can be stable top to bottom. So use these appropriately. All right, we got one left. Let's do it. All right, so first round of testing is in the books. Had a little bit of fun with it. Honestly, it's been a long time since I've done sets of 5, so it was fun to go back to the old school and push a little bit of weight. But again, guys, if you're gonna do this, please do it safely and effectively. I would not recommend it for any of you that are amateurs or novice, especially if you're doing this on your own and you don't have a spotter or a seasoned weightlifting friend, somebody who's there to make sure that you're doing this appropriately. I'm just doing this for educational purposes for you guys so that we can come back and double check on these things later on down the road. And also to humble myself a little bit and see where I was at relative to where I was at the beginning. Definitely lost a little bit of a step, but you know what? I was actually pleasantly surprised with a lot of these things. So let's run through what our finishing totals were. So on the back squat, we had 225, respectable. That's something I did used to do for reps prior to this, but you know what? That's all right. We don't want to compare where we were at to where we are right now, right? All we want to do is get better. So bench press, 215 for 5. Again, not terrible, reasonable start. Deadlifts, 245. I hadn't been doing conventional deadlifts, so I was really happy with this result. That number should definitely skyrocket as we're gonna start to implement it in a little bit here and there and mix that in between conventional and the hex bar, which I do tend to prefer because it's a little bit easier mechanically on the body. So next we had the bent over row. We wound up with 185 on that. Definitely felt like my low back was fatiguing, but this is a rather large testing protocol. Generally, these things would all be broken up. I'd probably do some of them on different days just so that I could really hit it when I was as fresh as possible. But I'm coming off a rest day, so I felt like it was good. We just run through the whole thing. And again, that's probably what we'll do again on the 30th. So pull-ups, AMRAP, we only had one shot and we captured as many as we could, which was only 10. That's all right. We'll see where we get from there. 1 mile run was pretty abysmal, all right? 9 minutes and 21 seconds. Nobody ever said that I was much for distance. I was always a sprinter for sure. 100, 200, 400. The mile or anything longer than that is definitely not my forte, but I do want to start trying to push the endurance a little bit. And we'll just see, even from the style of endurance training that we get, how much carryover we do get when we go back to testing that again here in a couple weeks. So push press, 125, reasonable considering I have extremely long arms for my frame. It may not be easy to tell that, but I'm working with about a 6'3", 6'4" wingspan at about 5'10". So it makes upper body exercises a little more difficult sometimes, but not too bad, not too shabby. So all in all, pretty fun testing day. That was the workout for today. We're gonna get right back into the anterior and posterior split tomorrow. I'm probably gonna modify and pull back a little bit on what I would typically do for legs and modify on that just so that I don't overdo it, especially depending on how I feel after today. That's a lot of work on the lower body, and the last thing we want to do is set ourselves up for injury. So we'll see how we're feeling in the morning, and I'm probably going to modify just so that the protocol makes sense for me. So let's look forward to that. Other than that, guys, remember, please, this is not a competition. Don't compare yourself to where I'm at right now. This is okay. I'm not upset with this. I'm not ecstatic about it either, but it is where we are right now. So one of the things that I first said is that this needs to be an honest representation for you guys, and it needs to be an honest representation for me so that I can show you guys how we can continue to progress and get better, right? No matter where we were at before this thing, no matter where you're at right now, if you feel like you're in this thing alone, don't. I'm going through this thing right here with you. So if you want to follow this protocol, just know, hey, you literally have a training partner in me. So I hope you guys are doing great. Please take care of yourselves. Hopefully things just go up from here. Things get better. So, all right. Love you guys. God bless. Take care of yourselves. Stay up. Stay strong. The war goes on.